Well, hello, and thank you for joining me for another Alex on Tech and ITY TV interview. I'm joined today by Dylan Larson. He's the Director of Product Marketing at AMD. Well, Dylan, we're here at the pre-briefing before the big keynote that's going to happen. I definitely urge people to watch the keynotes, but just in brief, what did we see today?
Today we saw, great comparisons of the technology that we're bringing and the performance we're bringing with 4th Gen EPYC. So what you've seen is, I think across a broad range of workloads, the big advancements we've made in driving performance in that new product line.
And we're seeing, not just more than double what Intel has with its best processors, but double what you had with Gen 3, which is a pretty impressive thing because normally in the world of processors, the advances have normally been 5, 10, 15%. If we're going by Intel, it's been sort of on the lower end of the scale. So to get these massive jumps, it's like the sort of jump you'd get after 5 years normally.
Yeah.
How did you do it?
I think you look at kind of two things.
Yeah.
We've looked at driving, the kind of throughput performance, more cores into the design. So driving up to 96 cores per socket. So you have like a core count growth, but you also have looked at each individual core within that mix being higher performance as well. So you're driving both performance with the core count growth, but also performance at the per core level. And that what gave us the ability to kind of make these massive gains in performance.
And obviously it's the 4th generation of Zen and the Ryzen technology that you've been working on for some time.
Exactly.
So you've obviously, it's a bit like with Apple, they've got designs they've worked on for the future. They're working on 2 or 3 years now, and what the roadmap, what they've got and what they're going to release, it's always quite spectacular. And AMD's
it's common in the semiconductor business, which is like this kind of long lead times to get to those massive gains.
Yeah. Now, one of the other things we saw in the demo today, and we're going to see more about that no doubt in the keynote, is how there's a situation where you've got 15 servers using Intel processors, and you can do the same with only 5 servers. With a 2 processor instance, and you've got obviously lower licensing costs, lower energy costs. Presumably, it's competitive pricing. And I was asking about if this is the year, or over the next sort of 18 months, we're going to see this massive AMD upgrade supercycle, not just like an iPhone supercycle, but an AMD one for all the servers. So, and the response was that, well, that's what you're hoping for.
Yeah.
But it must be exciting times with all of your.
It's incredibly exciting, and I think what you see is that ability to kind of meet this kind of next inflection point with challenges in energy efficiency and costs rising for energy around the world. You see, maybe this is really that time to get to that level of refresh cycle that would drive that big volume growth that we'd love to see.
How many data centers are there around the world, roughly? Do you think?
I used to have that number at the top of my head, but I don't. But there are, if you think alone in the West Coast, there are probably 50 data centers, mega data centers from the large clouds. And then you look at, yet again, the rest of the United States, there's hundreds of data centers.
Yeah. Well, there must be thousands, if not tens of thousands or more globally.
I'm sure.
Obviously, every data center is on different upgrade cycle, but how many would you roughly estimate globally are ripe for this sort of an upgrade?
Many, I would say. I think partially because the value proposition is so clear. Partly because the amount of performance we're able to unlock, with that kind of world, with keeping the energy consumption, basically relatively flat with the amount of expectation that people need. I think it's going to be a perfect storm for kind of being able to drive that kind of.
Well, yeah, there's only so many years you can sweat an asset for before you sweated it out.
It's true. Now it's the time.
Yeah. And have you already been hearing from data centers who've had sneak peeks into what's coming? Is there already a pent-up demand you know about, or are you waiting for it to be unleashed tomorrow?
No, I think that I think there's a pent-up demand for sure. The value proposition really resonates with the customers we talk to, and we're talking to the largest data centers in the world, and we're talking to our partners that we work with to bring these products to market. So absolutely, I think they're hungry for this kind of capability.
That's right. And the thing is that data centers are the enterprise class or industry class, almost utility class kind of customer, huge customers. But the products and services that they provide affects us all. It's actually consumers that are going to be the ultimate winners.
Yeah.
So
we talk a lot about the number of instances that get unleashed. So go to an infrastructure as a service provider and say, I need to get my own virtual machine to do work on. But you also look at these sort of the internal properties that they use to support platform as a service and these different kinds of capabilities that you unleash. So you're saying it's not just let's create more services, but let's create new tools that can be used internally, the things that affect our lives, as you said.
Yeah. So what else would you like to tell people watching about everything that was announced today and what's coming tomorrow? And this will only be published after the keynote,
after the keynote.
No secrets will be divulged until the appropriate time.
I think what you'll see is even more sort of clarity or additional clarity on the great performance we're unlocking. You're going to see, kind of similar to your last question, you're going to see really, really strong partnerships that are going to be exposed and talking about what they're going to do with our product as they go forward. So you're going to see a lot of talk about the portfolios of large OEM customers that we work with every day. You're going to see very, very exciting things that are going to be unleashed with the big cloud customers as well. So you're going to see a lot of that kind of momentum that's going to be coming behind 4th Gen EPYC.
Well, as I said at the beginning of this interview, I always do recommend people watch the keynotes because oftentimes they're like science fiction shows that come true like next week or in a couple of months or something after a WWDC type of event.
Yeah.
And so, why put up with watching some rubbishy show on some streaming service that you complain about when you can watch actual science fiction becoming science fact?
Yes.
It's quite exciting. What is your final message to your customers who are watching right now?
Final message, take a look. 4th Gen EPYC is awesome. The product has killer performance, great energy efficiency, all the things we've been talking about, which really are exciting because I do think they are transformational in the world that we're facing today with energy consumption, but also just with the pure demand of compute that we see worldwide.
Sounds to me like the brand name EPYC is more relevant than ever.
I think it is.
Well, Dylan Larson, Director of Marketing, thank you very much for your time and I look forward to the keynote tomorrow.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.